I would say, to answer the question of whether governments should balance their budgets, we should, there's no macroeconomics without microeconomics, so let's go to the microeconomic principles here. Your family doesn't do itself any good services or any good when it runs always in debt. And so, there's some debt that's good debt. A lot of us have mortgages on our homes. That's responsible debt, but you don't want to take a mortgage that you can't afford either. So I think the principles of prudent stewardship that apply to our family lives have to apply to our businesses and our governments. And when we lose sight of that, and here's the problem with the government that's different than the family. There's a limit to how much credit Citibank's going to give me, right? And if I stop paying my bills and I'm always running, over the limit and all these kind of stuff, they're going to stop doing business with me because I cost them a lot of money. And maybe I don't pay my bills. And the same is true for the U.S. government. If we are always going to be in debt, that debt has to be paid for. So the problem that I have with this from a moral perspective is that currently we are financing everything we do by putting a financial burden on people who are not even born yet. So they have no say. We are loading up that burden on people without asking them. That is theft, in my opinion. Is a very dangerous thing, and it's a very vicious cycle, and Republicans and Democrats are equally guilty of this. So we have, in terms of the federal budget, we have a lot of problems, and this is why. We can all talk about balancing the budget, and that's all fine and good. I don't think that's enough. I think we need to have a fundamental question about what spending can we stop engaging in, because we spend more than we can afford as a government. And if we don't stop that, the bottom will fall out. And that's going to have international implications, right? The soundness of the dollar is one of the best things we have going for us. It makes the dollar a very attractive currency. But if we start spiraling out of control in our debt, that's going to affect the value of the dollar and everything else. So I think we have to tread with caution here, and I think we need to get back to principles, which is we spend too much. Both parties spend too much. So it's a fundamental reform in the institution of government. This is a hard thing to come by. Nobody wants to give up their spending, right? So it's hard.